Switch Headz Audio presents The Legend of Zelda, Generations, written and illustrated by David Howe, Mrs. Holford's class, Carroll Intermediate School, 1999 to 2000. Narrated by David Howe. Dedicated to Shigeru Miyamoto. Prologue. Tree Season. 212 HR. Dear Journal, Ganondorf has gotten out of hand. He has taken my wife to a prison again. I hope she escapes. But I am mostly worried about Link and Zelda. It seems just like yesterday when they opened their eyes for the first time. They were so small. I fear I will never see them again. I'm staying with the Kokiri while I'm changing. I am almost done. It's hard to write. My hands are going away very quickly. Whomever finds this, place your hand on the page and listen to my thoughts. You will see through my eyes, speak my words, and feel my pain. The legend must be passed on. So place your hand on the page. This is my story. Chapter 1. My name is Link, and Hyrule was done for. Whoa, let me start at the beginning. It all started on a sunny day. Link, what'd you do that for? My brother yelled in his Cockney voice. You could have killed me. Oh, do be quiet, I said. I just want to see her. I would pay all of Hyrule to see her face again. Then she came out of the store. Oh my gosh, I was amazed. 15 years later. Link, I've got to go run some errands, but I'll be right back. That would be Natalie, the girl from the store. Okay, but be careful. Did you hear about the missing girl? No. Well, just be careful. I decided to go for a walk. I looked outside and saw a beautiful castle town, my home. Then I felt a strong wind. The sky above me suddenly turned to dark clouds. Then something hit me, and all turned black. Chapter 2. When I opened my eyes, I was in a forest. I rubbed my head. Ouch! There was an inch-tall bump on my head. I looked around. To my left, trees. To my right, trees. Oh, goody, goody. Then, all of a sudden, I saw a blinding light. A fairy emerged from the aurora. Link, Hyrule needs your help. My mouth hung open. Huh? What? Why me? You are the only one who can defeat the evil Ganondorf. Take this. The fairy gave me what looked like 3 golden triangles. The Triforce. The Triforce has all power. It gives the holder infinite wishes. Take it, the fairy said. I moved closer. Then I touched it. I felt a surge of power. Now take this sword and shield. You will need these to overtake Ganondorf. You must send him to the Dark Realm. Yes, ma'am, I said. Ganondorf didn't stand a chance. Chapter 3. After I experimented with the sword and the Triforce, I figured out that she had given me magic. Whenever I held the sword in a special position, I could shoot a magical beam out the front. I wanted to test my skills, so I went back home to find a cuckoo to blow up. But when I got there, the town was in flames. I cursed and took out my sword. I started running and bumped into the elder. "No!" he cried. Then he looked at me and said, "Son, save us!" I looked up and saw what was destroying the town. It looked like a dragon with 8 heads. It looked at me with 6 of its heads.
So, Link, you wish to confront me? Oh well, I will not lose,
said the center head. He breathed liquid fire at me. I dodged it, but it hit the elder. No! I screamed. I let out the sword beam, and the dragon exploded. Chapter 4. We buried the elder the next day. The elder's daughter told me that Ganondorf had made the dragon appear out of thin air. If he could do it once, he could probably do it again. I said my goodbyes and left for Death Mountain. That's where the elder's daughter told me Ganondorf's HQ was. So I set out. But then I realized Natalie hadn't come home yet. I searched my half-burnt-down house and found no trace of her, except for her Triforce pendant. I quickly put it on and left. I was in a rage. Ganondorf would pay dearly. I went to Lon Lon Ranch to see my best friend, Avi, and to borrow a horse. I told Avi the whole story and why I needed a horse. He gladly gave me one and a bow and arrow set, free of charge. I thanked him and set out for Death Mountain again. Little did I know what awaited me along the way. Chapter 5. It had been a long day. I stopped to rest under a tree. But when my back touched the trunk, it touched a knot, which was actually a switch. Then I heard a hissing sound, and a giant cobra appeared out of the ground. And if that wasn't enough, about 175 Skulltulas appeared all over the hillside. It was a trap. It was an ambush. I ran to my left, but the cobra was faster. It got in front of me and showed its venomous teeth with poison dripping from them. Next, I did the most dangerous thing a man could do to a cobra. I jumped onto its back and held its head in a position where it couldn't bite me. When it tried to whip me with its tail, I grabbed it and tied it in a knot. Then I stuffed it in his mouth and forced its jaws closed. I got off his back, and his own venom started flowing through his bloodstream. The Skulltulas scurried away in fear. Chapter 6. That night, I slept under a different tree and fell asleep in 15 seconds. I had a nightmare. I was in Hyrule Castle, surrounded by my friends. Natalie kissed me on the cheek. Then, it started burning. She started changing into a dragon with venomous teeth and Ganondorf's head. The elder cried at my feet, saying, "Son, save me!" I tried to run, but Natalie was gaining on me. Her foot came down. Poof! I awoke. Starlight, the horse, was laying on me. "Get off, you blithering no-good!" But I stopped in mid-sentence. It was pitch black. When my eyes got adjusted, I found that Starlight and I were in a dungeon, with someone else in with us. I crept closer to the figure. It was asleep. If I hid it sleeping, I might be able to get the keys to get out of here. But it wasn't a creature. "Natalie!" I cried. Chapter 7. Huh? What? Oh, Link! She jumped and scared me out of my boots. Pretty soon she was kissing me, and I was kissing her back. "What are you doing here?" she asked. "Ditto," I said. "No, really, I don't know. I fell asleep, had a nightmare about you, and ended up here. What about you?" "Well, when I went shopping, I was hit by something and awoke in a forest. This fairy gave me telepathy and teleportation. I fell asleep, had a nightmare about you, Link, and ended up here." "Huh," I said. "Funny how things work out." I told her my story. "Weird," she said. "Oh, Ganondorf scheduled us to be executed this afternoon." "What?" I screamed. "Oh, I wouldn't worry about it," Natalie said. With the magic powers of the Triforce, we'll be safe and sound. Then I heard soft crying noises. Could it be? Oh, the kids, Natalie said. Chapter 8. Kids? I asked. Yes, the kids. Natalie picked up a rag and revealed 2 babies. The boy's name is Link, named after you, and the girl's name is Zelda, Natalie said. I looked at my daughter and son. I'm a father at last, I thought. I picked up Link and started crying. Link, however, started giggling. Well, Natalie said, are we going to get out of here or what? Huh? I asked. Oh, Ganondorf doesn't know we have magic? Yeah. Using Natalie's teleportation, we warped right into Ganondorf's bedroom. Oops, Natalie murmured. Ganondorf then woke up. Ah! He yelled. Ah! I yelled. Wah! The twins yelled. I took out my sword, ready to strike, but Ganondorf flicked his finger, and the sword shattered into pieces. He snapped, and 20 of his henchmen, the Moblins, emerged out of paintings on the walls. I took out my bow and fired an arrow aimed directly at Ganondorf's head, but the arrow vanished. So long, mortals. Chapter 9. Ganondorf raised his hand. I shall enjoy seeing you die. Wait! I yelled. You don't know what I have! I took the Triforce out of Starlight's sack. No! Ganondorf cried. Yes, I said. Natalie, get the kids out of here. I'll deal with Ganondorf myself. She nodded. Good luck. She kissed me on the cheek. I love you, she said. I know, I replied. She teleported away with the kids. Then, Triforce held high above my head, I shouted at the top of my lungs, Moblins, disintegrate! Atom by atom, the Moblins fell apart. Then I screamed, Battle Axe! So did Ganondorf. Then, the real fight began. Battle axe in hand, Ganondorf and I were in an axe fight. I shouted, Burst! And the roof was hurled magically miles away. Next, still fighting, I yelled, Fly! I floated above Ganondorf and started twirling my axe. Ganondorf did the same. This is getting pretty boring, mortal, Ganondorf said. Ganondorf started changing into a hideous beast. Chapter 10. No way, I said. Ganondorf was a monster. You could hear bones shifting as he changed. Then he finished. It was so horrifying that I wanted to scream, Mommy!
I am Ganon,
he said. Wah! I cried and shot a beam of light at Ganon. He merely blocked it and laughed. I called upon the earth, and a huge boulder hovered above my head. I hurled it at Ganon, but he crushed it with his tail.
Now you will suffer as you are taught your place in death's own home.
I was suddenly in a clearing in a forest. I tried to move, but I couldn't. An image of Ganon appeared in my head, saying,
I have placed a curse inside you. May you live in horror and agony from this way forth.
I tried to hit him with a light beam, but it came back and hit me. Then, I heard a telepathic voice. Link, I lost Zelda and Link. 2 gold Skulltulas came and took them. Link, can you hear me? Link! I tried calling back to her, but I couldn't. Then I finally realized what was happening. I was changing into a tree. Changing. Epilogue. Scrub Season, 212 HR. Dear Journal, that's it. Not exactly a happy story, but a legend nonetheless. By the way, I never heard from Link or Zelda. Natalie can still communicate with me using telepathy, but the twins can't. Right now, she's telling me that the gold Skulltulas got separated in a storm. The twins are separated too. Ouch. My roots are aching. This fairy is telling me the story about her great-grandmother being locked in a chain. Boring. Wait. A young Kokiri is walking up to me. He is saying that I will be glad to hear that Link is here. Link! The boy named Mido is saying that Link is struggling with nightmares. Bring him to me, I am saying. Oh, the little squirt. Oh well. My story is not finished. The legend has been passed on. My son, Link, is going to write the next chapter. To be continued in The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time, for your Nintendo 64. Switch Headz Audio presents The Legend of Zelda, Generations. Written and illustrated by David Howe. Narrated by David Howe.